our family. We want rights for our family.
Yep, that's right.
That one's a little harder, right? So the next speaker we have up here is Samantha Brown. Samantha Brown is a perfect example that we try to say, before you reach out to your school board, please look us up, www.parentsrights.ca. I'll let Samantha talk about her issue with the school, but they basically swept it under the rug, so she's here to expose some darkness in the world. And again, we truly believe that everybody has a right to raise their family the way they choose fit. We just want a right to our children. Please, let's find a center to this. Thank you, Samantha.
Hi everyone, I'm Samantha Brown. I am the Ontario Coordinator for WDI Canada. WDI stands for the Women's Declaration International. We are a feminist organization with chapters in 50 countries worldwide. One of our main objectives is fighting against the harms gender ideology has brought upon women, children, and society at large. WDI Canada's leader, Linda Blade, recently had her resolution to give women and girls back our spaces, sports, and titles, and redefine women as an adult human female, passed at the CPC convention with 87% approval. This is a major step in the right direction for women's rights in Canada, and I could not be prouder. We hear a lot from the media about anyone speaking out against gender ideology being far-right extremists or homophobes. I just would like to say that I am an atheist feminist, and I am here because what is happening in schools is wrong. I would also like to point out that lesbians were among the first people to sound the alarm on gender ideology because they were being called bigots for refusing to include trans-identified males in their dating pools. Today, I will discuss the devastating effects of gender ideology on young girls. For starters, current self-ID laws in Canada allow any man to declare that they are a woman and instantly enter women's spaces. These spaces include women's shelters, prisons, rape crisis centers, public change rooms and washrooms, and yes, school change rooms and washrooms. Last year, when my daughter was 11, she came home from school and informed me that there was an 8th grade male student in the washroom. I asked her how she felt about it, and she said that she was now afraid to go to the washroom alone. The following day, I spoke to her principal. I was told that if she was uncomfortable, there was a single-stall, gender-neutral space that she could go to. Naturally, I asked why the male student could not be asked to use this washroom. I was told that every student is allowed to choose whichever washroom they feel most comfortable in. I guess this doesn't apply to female students. At this point, it was clear that this was not a safety issue for the male student. The student was already out. There was a separate washroom that they could use if they felt uncomfortable in the boys' room. When I attempted to speak at the school board, I was put off several times, ghosted, and then was told I could not speak at the public meeting. I was invited to speak at their private meeting. It turned out this meant I could talk to them while they ate their dinner. I was ignored, and ultimately, I left with most of them barely even looking at me.
Take your child out!
Our daughters and all women and girls are being used as validation tools. Our girls are not responsible for the feelings of male students. To suggest that they should move over and use a different washroom or change room than the one they have been using all their life is deeply misogynistic and unfair. For women such as myself who have had to heal from sexual violence, taking our single-sex spaces away is a form of torture. I can't imagine dealing with these emotions as a young girl. High school girls are now being forced to change for gym class in front of male students. This is a violation of their privacy and a clear message that their consent is conditional. It turns out that girls no longer have the right to say who they get undressed in front of or who undresses in front of them. If they make their understandable discomfort known, they risk being shamed and called bigots. There have been documented cases of girls being assaulted in school bathrooms in the United States. Not to mention the countless cases in Canada and all over the world of predatory men taking advantage of self-ID laws to violate women and girls. Considering that only about 6% of sexual assaults are reported, according to the U.S. Department of Justice, with minors being the least likely to report, I assure you that we have only seen the tip of the iceberg. The main reasons why girls don't report sexual assault is fear that they won't be believed or that they will be blamed. Add to that the fact that the perpetrator is a member of a protected class, and it could cause them to be called a bigot for coming forward, which we have also seen happen, and you've got a recipe for silence. I often ask, how many assaults are too many to justify allowing male students into the girls' spaces to validate their feelings? Why do their feelings matter, but our daughters' feelings don't? Why is it that when males say they feel unsafe in their own single-sex spaces, they're given access to female spaces with no questions asked? And yet, when women say that we are uncomfortable with any male being allowed into our spaces, we're called bigots and fascists. Another major issue that is affecting our girls is the fact that they're now being made to compete against male students in sports. This is blatantly unfair, and we all know it. Show me a person who says that males do not have monumental advantages over women in sports, and I'll show you a liar. Testosterone is not the only factor to consider. Males have larger hearts and lungs, more fast-twitch muscles for explosive power, lower body fat, greater upper and lower body strength, stronger grip, larger hands and feet, and are taller on average, to name some of the many advantages. I've heard people say that sports are supposed to be fun, so we should allow these male students to play if it makes them happy. No. There are girls who train day in and day out to compete for places on teams and to better their performance. They deserve fairness and safety in competition. Every reasonable person knows this, and yet males are repeatedly being allowed to compete against females in sports. Lastly, gender ideology is affecting young girls by convincing them that they can become boys. There has been an explosion in young girls as well as boys transitioning. Girls transition for different reasons than boys. Many do so to try to escape pain and sexualization, to fit in with their peer group, to deal with the discomfort and disgust they feel for their changing bodies during puberty. Our kids need to be told that they are perfect just as they are. There is no wrong way to be a boy or a girl. Girls can wear short hair, play sports, reject femininity altogether. They are still girls. The worst part of this is that if your daughter does transition at school, current policies will ensure that you are kept in the dark about her new name, pronouns, and her current state of mental health. We have a duty to fight back against this. Our children are depending on us. If you are a woman and would like to join WDI, go to womensdeclaration.com and sign the declaration. This Saturday, we will be protesting males and women's spaces at the Big Maple Leaf on the corner of Wyandotte and Glengarry. I speak to so many people who agree with everything I've said, but who are too afraid to come and speak with us publicly. If you agree and you're unafraid of woke ideologues, please come out to support women and girls. We need everyone to see that they are not alone in feeling what's happening is wrong. All are welcome, and I hope to see you there. Reality will always win in the end, but we need to force change before more women and children are harmed by this insidious ideology. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. That website, if you didn't hear it, if you go to www.parentsrights.ca, you can get connected with Samantha's foundation. Scream louder. Scream louder. Scream louder. Scream louder. Thank you very much, Scott, and thank you to all the families here. Again, everybody deserves full human rights. We're here for our family. The other side thinks that we want their family. We don't. We just want the rights to our family. You have the rights to your family. Please let us have our rights to our family. Thank you, Scott.
There's a whole bunch of kids behind me that want to come up. Listen, I'm a mom, so, kids, come on up if you want to. That's what we're here for. You guys want on the podium, go ahead. Before I get started on my speech, I want to acknowledge something. Today we've had Muslim leaders. Thank you for coming. Today we've had Christian leaders. Thank you for coming. Today we've had atheist leaders. We've had feminist leaders. I represent the rainbow, and this is how we stop the medicalization of children, is coming together. Thank you. Come on, kids. This is what we're here for, right? Can you guys hear me okay? Yeah. You guys ready? Kids, you ready? All right. My name's Scott Nugent, and I'm a 50-year-old transgender man. A woman who took synthetic hormones to create an illusion of a male for comfort. A trans man. Seems to be the go-to fascination right now, a trans person. But the most important thing to me are my 3 kids. I'm a mother who's given birth, and I've carried life. I'm here today to put an end to the idea that medically transitioning children is about tolerance, love, and goodness. It is not. It's about perverts and money mongering. At 42, I became engulfed in what I call a huge unicorn fart that is selling to the world the idea that you could change your sex, that it's easy to do, that it cures all that ails you. And we're selling this to children at a time in childhood when even the kids that do fit in, the perfectly attractive, intelligent, athletic, dominant boys, and the gorgeous, intelligent, submissive girls feel awkward and ostracized and alone. And then there are the children like me who really didn't fit. The autistic, the same-sex attracted, the abused, the mentally ill, the musically gifted, the artistically gifted, all the different kids. Hey guys, just a little bit to the, you guys are doing awesome, just a little bit to the right, there you go. All right. If you have one of these different kids, you wear your heart on your sleeve. You helicopter parent around this child, telling them that they're not weird, they're just different, and different is a superpower. That's right. You see, the acceptance of all human rights, desired of all, echoes for all, has been since the beginning of time. We within the rainbow fought for what I believed were righteous rights, and those rights were the rights to love and live where we wanted to live. In 2015, right? We're not against people having their rights. In 2002, adoption rights were granted to same-sex couples, and I believe this was a righteous right. In 2004, civil partnerships were won, and I believe this was a righteous right. We won all of our rights within the gay and lesbian community, and in 2015, this is where we faltered. This is where we let you down, and this is where we need to pick up and say, we're sorry. Your children are your children. The rainbow belongs nowhere around children, period.
All right.
Now is the time for gays and lesbians and transgender people like me, all the people that we sit at home at our dinner parties and we're against this ideology, we're against the rainbow being in the school systems. It's time for my people to stand up, apologize, and take our community back and get away from children. Hey guys. A little bit. Oh! That's all right. We need to stop pushing puberty blockers, hormones, and surgeries on children and youth. We need to stop telling kids they were born in the wrong body. They are just different. And different is okay. In fact, different is a superpower. We need to start screaming louder that awkward children are being targeted by the new cash cow called transgender health, a series of experimental procedures that have no long-term studies that say it's safe or beneficial. How are we butchering an entire generation of youth in the name of tolerance and acceptance? This is hypocritical. These kids not accepting their bodies, drastically changing their physical appearance through puberty blockers, hormones, and surgery is in itself the act of intolerance. Market research predicts that gender-affirming care will generate more than $5 billion by the end of the decade. The truth is that medical transition is dangerous, it doesn't cure anything, and it causes massive health issues. In fact, there's only 7 studies that have ever said that medically transitioning children are beneficial. But you here in Canada don't know that every single one of those studies has either been retracted with it doesn't help anything, or not enough time, or not enough participants. There's not one study that says it's beneficial. There's only one study that stands the test of time, and it was done in Sweden from 1973 to 2003, and it found that these kids are going to be more suicidal 7 to 10 years after they medically transition. Now that's the truth. If the current rate of kids being transitioned here in Canada, I want you guys to hear me on this. You guys listening? If the current rate of kids that are transitioning right now in Canada, if it stays the same, in 20 years, 16 to 23% of your entire population here in Canada will be transgender without having one single disease. I underwent close to $1 million worth of surgery and hormone therapy to go from Kelly, a trans man, and it almost killed me in the process. In fact, I probably won't live long enough to meet my grandkids because I still get recurring infections. But these enormous side effects are not being told to you here in Canada. In fact, of all the countries that I go to speak, Canada is the country that I'm scared of the most. The way Canada is not telling you guys what's going on with all of these medical problems, with all of these procedures, is outrageous. And when I say to scream louder, I mean it. You guys need to scream louder. So here are some facts that the Canadian media is not giving to you. 95% of all medical transition is experimental, except for top surgery, breast augmentation. We have no idea what's going to happen to these kids because it's never been studied. But we do see 19 and 20-year-olds with hearts and lungs the size of 12 and 11-year-olds, never to grow to full maturity. We are seeing these boys that were put on puberty blockers have early onset osteoporosis. We have these girls that are being medically transitioned that have to be on blood thinners for the rest of their lives. We have these children at 19, 20 that have heart conditions, that are sterile, and now they are starting to kill themselves. But you don't see that here in the media. all you see are the unicorn farts and the glitter barns. The way to stop this, there is no calm, there is no rational, there is no debate. This is a scream louder kind of situation. Here's another little bit of fact that I think that you guys would want to know. In 2003, the manufacturers of puberty blockers, you know the company that says that it's safe and reversible? In 2003 was deemed a criminal enterprise by the US government. Forced to pay $874 million, and they paid it like that. This is a company that cannot pay to have studies on puberty blockers for children, or is it that they know there's not a doctor in the world that would sign on it that it's safe? My only objective here today is to transfer my passion and experience as a trans man, as a lesbian, double quoted on the rainbow, triple. I'm also over 50, so I am the rainbow. We've had Muslims, we've had Christians, we've got the rainbow, we've got feminists. Everybody's here, so you have to listen to the facts, and the facts tell us the medical transition is no place for a child. I want everybody here to talk to your children, your parents, your sisters, your brothers, your cousins, your neighbors, your co-workers. I want to inspire people to have those difficult conversations. I want you to do your work. Get outside of the Twitter echo chamber. This debate is not political. It's not about human rights. And we need everybody here in Canada to be brave enough to release their own screams in unison for something we all are together, human beings. One colossal scream that medical transition is not for a child, because within this debate, a bigot today is a hero tomorrow. My question for everybody here in the audience is, are you willing to take the heat today? To be a hero tomorrow? To save a generation of children? Because our children deserve us to adult better! Thank you.
All right, kids, if you could head back to your parents, that'd be great. Be very careful disembarking the stage. Take your time, just be careful. See mom and dad.
I suggest the government uses it and enforces it to be used at the school board levels. Again, no more secrets, no more secrets, no more secrets. No more secrets! No more secrets! And on a thank you, Imam Naeem is going to do a speech from Imam Sharara, as Imam Sharara is out of the country right now.
I'd like to begin by welcoming everyone and thanking everyone to come here. And also, I want to begin this speech in the name of God, the most gracious, the most merciful. And again, thank you for everyone coming out. And once again, I'm reading this message, translated message from Sheikh Abdul Minam to the community and to everyone. So it states, today our innate nature, our morals, humanity, and shared values bring us together. These values, endorsed by our various religious and diverse ideological and philosophical orientations, form a significant or large part of the Canadian society. This large segment of society, whether present here today or not, carries the same concerns, fears, and objections. Indeed, our rights bring us together, our fear for our children, our families, our community, and we are keen to protect them. This segment is a group within society. There's a lot of feedback. This segment is a group within society, but is the most extensive group and is consistent with human history, its values, and the innate nature upon which it was created. Now we see that in the name of diversity is suppressed. In the name of freedom, freedoms are stifled. In the name of childhood, childhood is threatened. Propaganda is being created that distorts and culture diversity. One more time for those who missed it. We know that Canada is the cradle of freedom and cultural diversity. So how has it come to the point where we cannot preserve our culture, religions, and thoughts? Only because a subsection of society wants to impose its thinking and culture on our entire community and allow directing our children in this particular direction, with almost entirely isolating parents or trying to remove them from their capacity, from their culture and educational roles, attempting to limit the role of parents to just caregiving and financial responsibilities. Who gave educational or political officials the authority of our children? Who gave them this authority? And who has the rights? And who has? And parents no longer feel safe for their children in schools. They feel their inherent rights as fathers and mothers are threatened. Although we emphasize that what is happening is definitely inconsistent with Islam and other monotheistic religion, we as Canadians raise our voices and demand the protection of our children and parents' rights by halting all LGBTQ plus related programs in schools, not introducing topics that are inappropriate for their age and culture, and involving parents in any discussion concerning the cultural behavior, fate of their children. We hope that these demands are not taken out of context or misused, but are taken seriously. Do not sow confusion in the hearts of the children or lead them into a path that parents do not want the children to go through. Thank you Allah for your time, and may God reward you all. Thank you. And again, just leave the children alone. That's all we ask.